You chose a grand dollhouse, didn't you? After finishing setting up the dollhouse and starting to arrange the dolls one by one, I was once again impressed by the size of the dollhouse set my father had bought.
Your mom chose this.
Mom? You mean Patricia? The mom he referred to was not my real mother, but my stepmother, Patricia. I had always had a hard time with Patricia, who my father remarried just 2 years after my mother's death. I paused my work, took a deep breath, and began taking out the dolls from the box one by one. When I picked up the princess doll in a particularly luxurious dress, I examined it closely from every angle. I knew it. So that's what it was. Realizing a terrifying secret, I forcefully broke the princess doll's neck.
Stop it! Your mom chose this, and you're breaking it? Apologize to her.
My father scolded me.
I know you've always disliked Patricia. There have been many misunderstandings and conflicts. But breaking the doll she chose for her beloved granddaughter is too much, don't you think?
I sighed, picked up the princess doll with the broken neck, and held it up in front of my father's eyes. Did you see this?
This is.
It seemed my father finally understood what I was trying to say. This is her true nature. Do you understand now?
I can't believe it.
Realizing the truth, my father began to tremble with anger. My name is Naomi Brown, a 32-year-old housewife. There has been someone I've disliked since my school days. I lost my real mother to illness when I was in high school. 2 years later, shortly after I entered vocational school, my father, Steve, introduced me to a woman.
This is your new mom.
He said this without any prior consultation with me.
I'm Patricia. Nice to meet you, Naomi.
Patricia smiled gently beside my father. It hadn't been long since my mother's death. I was dissatisfied, but no matter how much I opposed it, my father was not the type to change his mind once he had decided something. I planned to leave home and live alone after graduating from high school. I'll pay for my living expenses by working part-time. I won't be a burden to you. Please. However, my father got furious when he heard this.
Don't be so cheeky. A student's duty is to study. You can commute to school from here. There's no need to live alone.
He didn't listen to my argument at all. Fine. Do as you like. My father's intention to remarry was firm, and I had no choice but to accept it.
I love you, Steve.
Patricia clung to my father as if to show off to me. The person I disliked was indeed my stepmother, Patricia. It was still bearable when I was at school. But other than that, I had to spend time with Patricia under the same roof, which made me feel suffocated. Patricia was friendly and smiled at me when my father was around, but when he was at work, she wouldn't even look at me. Patricia, I'll be late today because I'm writing a report at the library. Even when I spoke to her, Patricia would completely ignore me, pretending not to hear. Her dual nature gave me the creeps. One day, while I was studying in my room, loud music started blaring from the next room. Surprised, I peeked into the next room and saw Patricia had pulled out a radio cassette player she usually didn't use from the closet and turned the volume to the maximum. The loud noise echoed in my head, and I instinctively covered my ears. Please turn down the volume. I can't concentrate on my studies.
Oh. I'm sorry. I didn't notice. Yes, it was indeed a nuisance to the neighbors.
Patricia said this with a defiant smile and turned off the radio cassette player without any sign of remorse. On another day, when I returned home from school, I noticed that the amount of cosmetics had clearly decreased compared to before I left. There was only one person in the house who could have used them besides me. When I confronted Patricia, she smirked and said,
We're family, so it's fine, right?
She answered without any sign of remorse. On yet another day, Patricia wore my favorite dress, which my mother had given me as a high school entrance gift, without permission.
How do I look? Do I look 10 years younger in this?
She said this as if to show off to me. Enough is enough. When I finally reached my limit and shouted in anger, Patricia showed no sign of reflection and said,
My brother's child got into college. They said they would live alone after graduating from high school. How about you? Don't you long to live alone?
Given Patricia's past behavior, it was hard to believe she was saying this out of concern for me. It was clear that Patricia wanted to drive me out of the house. Honestly, living with Patricia was unpleasant, but I was more worried about leaving my father alone in the house. I didn't want to leave my only family member, my father, in the hands of someone like Patricia. I hoped that if my stubborn father knew Patricia's true nature, he would understand my feelings and drive her out. With faint hope, I told my father about the situation.
Is this true, Patricia?
When my father questioned her with a puzzled expression, Patricia shed big tears and said,
I'm sorry. Naomi wouldn't accept me as her mother, and it made me lonely.
She made it seem like the harassment was my fault.
I see. I'm sorry for making you feel lonely.
My father was easily deceived by Patricia's exaggerated act and spoke kind words to her.
I'm sorry. I won't do anything to upset Naomi again.
Patricia promised this in front of my father. However, she continued to use my cosmetics without permission and borrowed the suit I was supposed to wear for job interviews without asking. Unable to bear it any longer, I decided to leave home when I got a job. Freed from Patricia's harassment, I was finally able to live a peaceful life. When I was 28, I married a man who worked at the same company. The following year, I quit my job due to pregnancy, and my husband and I moved into an apartment about 2 hours away from my parents' house. As winter was coming to an end, I gave birth to my daughter, Lily.
She's born. A girl, huh?
Upon hearing the news, my father left work early and rushed to the hospital. It was his long-awaited first grandchild, so I could understand his excitement, but... Aren't you overreacting a bit? I whispered to my father, worried about the stares from others. The nurses were giggling, but my father, too excited to notice, called out to his granddaughter.
Lily! It's Grandpa! Since we have a girl, maybe Grandpa should splurge and buy a giant dollhouse set. What do you think?
No, that's a bit too big.
You don't have to hold back. I want to buy it for her.
I'm not holding back. It's just that our apartment is too small to fit a dollhouse. Hearing my practical response, my father visibly deflated.
I see. Well, that's too bad.
A week later, I returned to the apartment with Lily, driven by my father. As soon as we got out of the car, my father opened the trunk and proudly held up a box with a doll shop logo.
Ta-da!
While a dollhouse set was too difficult, my father had bought a simple set of 2 dolls, a prince and a princess, in a glass case instead.
When you move, Grandpa will buy you a big dollhouse.
He promised Lily, who couldn't understand his words yet, with great enthusiasm. Patricia, who had come along with my father, was all smiles in front of him but clearly looked displeased when he wasn't watching. Did she not like how my father doted on Lily? I couldn't believe she would be jealous of a newborn, but...
Patricia, didn't you have something to give Naomi?
Prompted by my father, Patricia smiled broadly and handed me a paper bag. The bag had the logo of a baby goods store I knew well.
A baby dress. It's a gift from me for the birth. You can have her wear it at the christening.
Oh. Thank you, Patricia. Despite my confusion, I naturally expressed my gratitude. Maybe I was wrong to think Patricia was jealous of Lily. I reflected on my shallow thoughts. When the day for the christening was decided, I took out the baby dress from the paper bag to wash it. The dress was so cute, like a little white fairy, that I couldn't help but smile. But then, a sharp pain suddenly shot through my fingertip. Ouch. What is this? Looking at my finger, I saw a red spot where it hurt. Surprised by the sudden pain, I tried to move the dress with my other hand to avoid getting blood on it, but that finger felt the same pain. The cause of the pain seemed to be hidden in the baby dress. Carefully turning the dress, I found several sharp pins sticking out. After washing my hands and putting on band-aids, anger welled up inside me. Before I knew it, I had grabbed my smartphone. Dad, can I talk to you? Sensing something unusual in my low voice, my father responded.
What's wrong? Is something wrong with Lily?
It's about the baby dress Patricia gave me. I explained what had just happened to my father.
Is that true? Are you hurt?
After checking the extent of my injury, my father immediately called out to Patricia on the other end of the phone.
Patricia, come here right now.
When my father pointed out the pins in the baby dress, Patricia took over the phone.
I'm so sorry, Naomi. Are you hurt?
Patricia apologized, her voice trembling with tears. Fortunately, the injury isn't serious. But what is this? Hiding pins in a dress is dangerous.
It must have been a mistake by the store staff. I'll file a complaint later.
Patricia said, raising her voice as if to emphasize her point. She wanted to make it clear that the store was at fault and she was just a victim.
That's what happened. Leave this matter to your mom.
My father took over the phone again, and the matter ended abruptly. Was it really a mistake by the store? My father seemed convinced, but remembering my days with Patricia, I couldn't take her words at face value. My distrust of Patricia reignited, and I distanced myself from her even more. 3 years flew by in the blink of an eye, and Lily turned 3. Our family, with my husband having been promoted to section chief, bought a piece of land nearby and built our own home. Seeing the spacious room, my father's eyes lit up.
All right. With a room this big, we can fit a dollhouse in here.
He muttered to himself loudly. You haven't given up on that idea yet. Surprised by my father's persistence, I couldn't help but laugh.
Of course not. For my adorable granddaughter, I'll do anything. No matter how expensive it is, I won't hesitate.
I appreciate your feelings, Dad, but what do you think? I asked my husband, who was holding Lily beside me, for his opinion.
I think it's fine.
He smiled wryly, overwhelmed by my father's determination.
Then it's decided.
Although he had come to see our new house, my father forgot to look at the other rooms and rushed out excitedly.
Did Grandpa already leave?
Looking a bit sad, Lily stared at the entrance. I smiled brightly at her. Your birthday is coming up soon, right? Grandpa said he's going to buy you a huge dollhouse set.
Really? Grandpa is amazing.
Oh, if my father had heard that, he would have been over the moon. Seeing Lily's eyes sparkle with joy, I couldn't stop smiling, imagining my father's delighted face. 3 days later, my father arrived with the dollhouse set, driving a van he borrowed from a friend. I had thought the dollhouse would be delivered by a courier, but I never expected my father to bring it himself.
I was going to have it delivered by a service, but I wanted to see Lily's happy face, so I decided to bring it myself.
Grandpa, you're so cool.
Hearing his granddaughter say that, my father's expression was one of pure joy. The strict, stubborn old man he used to be seemed to have vanished. When we opened the large box, Lily exclaimed in delight again.
All right. Leave the decorating to me.
He enthusiastically volunteered. You don't have to go that far. We can handle the rest.
I've decided I'm doing it.
My father's stubborn nature resurfaced in an unexpected way. Are you sure? Didn't you say you hurt your back and went to the chiropractor recently?
Don't treat me like an old man. For my adorable granddaughter, I can handle a little back pain. Ouch.
Contrary to his bravado, my father let out a cry and slowly knelt down, rubbing his back. You're not young anymore, so don't overdo it. Grateful for his kindness, I couldn't help but voice my concern. I'll help too. You sit in the chair and handle the decorating. I'll assemble the house. Let's split the work.
All right, fine.
Even the stubborn old man couldn't win against back pain and reluctantly agreed. You really picked something extravagant. As we finished setting up the dollhouse and started arranging the dolls, I marveled at the size of the set my father had bought.
Your mom picked it out.
Mom? You mean Patricia? The image of Patricia's smug smile flashed in my mind, and my chest tightened with unease. If Patricia had genuinely chosen the dolls out of love for Lily, that would be fine. But given the past incident with the baby dress, I couldn't help but feel suspicious.
I understand your mixed feelings, but she's finally realized how adorable her granddaughter is.
My father, who seemed to trust Patricia completely, tried to reassure me. I paused my work and took a deep breath, then began taking out the dolls from the box one by one. As I lifted a particularly lavishly dressed princess doll and examined it closely, Lily reached out with a dreamy expression.
Wow, what a beautiful doll. Nice to meet you, I'm Lily Brown.
Don't touch it. I hastily swatted her hand away. Even as Lily started to cry in surprise, my eyes remained fixed on the princess doll. I knew it. So that's what it was. Realizing the terrifying secret, I snapped the princess doll's head off.
Hey! What are you doing? Stop it!
My father, shocked by my unexpected action, tried to stop me. But I didn't stop, breaking the heads off the other dolls one by one.
Stop it! Your mom picked these up for Lily, and you're destroying them. Don't you feel any remorse? Apologize to her.
My father, who had fallen off his chair in his attempt to stop me, winced in pain. I reached out to help him.
Don't touch me. I don't need your help.
He swatted my hand away forcefully, glaring at me.
I know you've always disliked Patricia. There have been misunderstandings and conflicts between you two. But breaking the doll she chose for Lily is going too far, don't you think?
I sighed and picked up the first princess doll whose head I had broken off, holding it up to my father's face. Did you see this? My father took the doll from me, looking puzzled.
It's a beautiful doll. What's wrong with it?
Look closely at the neck. I scolded him.
The neck. Oh my God.
My father finally understood what I was trying to show him. From the broken neck of the princess doll, several sharp needles protruded. This is Patricia's true nature. Do you see now?
This is unbelievable.
Realizing the truth, my father began to tremble with anger.
Call her right now.
In an unexpectedly calm voice, my father instructed me. I took out my smartphone, imagining Patricia's face as she likely laughed at our misfortune, and dialed her number.
Naomi? What's wrong? Why are you calling all of a sudden?
As soon as I heard Patricia's voice, my father tapped me on the shoulder, indicating that he wanted to hear her voice too. I switched the call to speaker mode as he requested. Patricia, thank you for the dollhouse set. It arrived safely a little while ago. I said, surprisingly calm.
Oh. It arrived already. That was quicker than I expected.
Yes, the delivery driver was so passionate about his job that it left me speechless.
That's great. I'll make sure to thank the delivery company later.
Patricia laughed loudly on the other end of the line, seemingly unaware that we had discovered her secret. There's something I'd like to ask you, I said, getting straight to the point as I didn't want to prolong the conversation unnecessarily. What was the intention behind the needles hidden in the dolls?
Needles? What are you talking about?
Don't play dumb. This isn't the first time. When you gave us the baby dress, there were pins hidden in it, and I got a minor injury on my finger.
I don't remember something that happened so long ago.
Her quick denial without any reflection was proof that she was aware of her actions. Back then, you blamed the store that sold the dress and tearfully apologized to me.
Then it must be the store's fault again this time.
Patricia denied any involvement with the needles, but her voice was filled with amusement. Both times, the items came from different stores. Do you really think it's that convenient for the stores to hide needles?
Well, if there were needles, it must be the store's doing. The world is such a scary place, isn't it?
The scary one isn't the world, it's you. I replied quietly, struggling to contain my anger. Patricia, you've been laughing this whole time. I can imagine the joy on your face. Does it make you that happy to see me hurt or Lily sad? Answer me, Patricia. There was a brief silence on the other end of the line before Patricia finally admitted.
Yes, that's right. I've always wanted you all to be miserable.
She confessed her true feelings.
I want you to feel pain, to suffer, to be unhappy. Watching that from afar is my greatest joy.
So, you hated me that much? Even though I shouldn't have felt sad about being hated by such a woman, tears welled up in my eyes.
Yes, I hated you. I despised you.
Patricia shouted at the top of her lungs, her shrill voice making me pull the phone away from my ear. What about my dad?
What? Of course not.
Patricia suddenly yelled in denial.
I love Steve. I've loved him much more than you ever did, for so much longer. Since high school, I've always watched him. We went to different schools, but I saw him at the bus stop every morning. Steve was the first person I truly loved. I decided I would marry him and support him for the rest of my life. But then,
as old memories resurfaced, Patricia's voice began to tremble.
Steve started dating another woman, your real mother. I couldn't forgive that.
That was your one-sided feeling. My mom did nothing wrong. I couldn't suppress my rising anger as she insulted my mother.
She was wrong. Just because she went to the same school and was in the same class as Steve, she was always clinging to him. Do you know how I felt seeing that every morning? When I heard that Steve married your mother after becoming an adult, I was devastated. I hired a detective to find their address and moved next door. But even then, Steve didn't remember me. He and your mother greeted me with "nice to meet you" as if we were strangers.
I was too shocked by Patricia's delusions to respond.
I couldn't stand seeing them happily walking together or going out in their car. Steve was deceived by that woman. Poor thing. So, I put bugs in their mailbox and threw garbage at their door after Steve left for work.
Hearing this, I recalled a memory from kindergarten. I remembered cleaning up scattered garbage pecked by crows with my mother. So, you were the one who did that, I said in a trembling voice.
Even then, that woman wouldn't leave Steve. She was so stubborn. Fortunately, she passed away young, and I finally got Steve for myself.
Patricia laughed loudly.
But that wasn't the end. Even after she was gone, you were there. And then you had his grandchild.
Her laughter turned into a hateful sob.
I just wanted Steve to look at me and only me. But you always got in the way. Just like your wicked mom.
Is that why you hid the needles?
Yes. I just wanted you all to stay away from Steve. If you or Lily got hurt by the needles, I hoped you would hate Steve and never come near him again. That was my plan.
Hearing Patricia's terrifying plan, I wanted to hang up the phone. At that moment, my father, who had been listening silently, took the phone from my hand.
I despise you.
Steve. Why?
Patricia was visibly shaken by my father's unexpected voice.
I wanted to deliver it myself rather than relying on a service. But that's not important. I'm glad I heard your true feelings. You've been tormenting my daughter behind my back, haven't you? You thought you wouldn't get caught this time either. How foolish.
No, It's not like that. I just love you.
Divorce. There's no other option.
Patricia, stunned by my father's final decision, was at a loss for words and hung up the phone. 2 hours later, a taxi stopped in front of the house, and the door was pounded violently.
Hey! Open the door. I know you're in there, Naomi.
Patricia, in a fit of rage, banged on the door with all her might. Peeking through the small window, I saw her face red with fury.
If it weren't for you, Steve would be mine. Give him back. Give me back Steve, whom you stole from me.
Mommy, I'm scared.
Lily cried in fear.
Leave it to me.
Unable to tolerate it any longer, my father opened the door.
I never want to see your face again. I'll send the divorce papers later. This is not your place. Leave now.
Wait! Please, forgive me. I love you. Don't leave me.
You're disturbing the neighbors. Naomi, call the police now.
Following my father's instructions, I immediately dialed 911. Within 10 minutes, the police arrived.
Let go of me. This is a matter between husband and wife. You have no right to separate us.
She resisted fiercely, but my father's stern voice silenced her.
Enough! Stop disgracing yourself further.
Defeated, Patricia was finally taken away quietly. It was scary, wasn't it? But it's all right now. I hugged Lily tightly as she clung to me, sobbing. After that, my father hired a lawyer and started the process of divorcing Patricia. With Patricia's erratic behavior, we didn't know what she might do next. Concerned for my father's safety, my husband and I decided to have him stay with us until things settled down.
I will never leave Steve.
Patricia barged into our house multiple times, shouting, and each time she was taken away by the police. However, without the funds to hire a lawyer, Patricia had no choice but to accept my father's demands. Additionally, my father, fearing Patricia's unpredictable actions, sought a restraining order to keep her away. Shortly after, Patricia's brother came to our house.
I apologize for the trouble she has caused.
He apologized deeply and promised that the family would keep a close watch on Patricia from now on. Since then, Patricia has never appeared before us again.
I'm sorry, Naomi.
My father apologized sadly. It's okay, Dad. Lily is safe, and that's what matters. Besides, I should be the one thanking you for protecting us. When I said that, my father smiled sheepishly and said, I see. Time passed, and Lily became a first grader.
Grandpa thinks this stuffed animal is cuter.
No. I want this one.
Oh, okay. Then Grandpa will get it for you.
With unsteady hands, my father operated the lever of the claw machine. Whether it was because of the incident with Patricia or simply because he had aged, my father seemed to have mellowed out. He no longer pushed his demands or dismissed others' opinions outright like he used to.
Oh, I missed it.
Grandpa, you're so bad at this.
Now, he was a doting, gentle grandfather, completely smitten with his granddaughter.
How did you like this story? Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.